Hey, hey, hey. I've heard this patch is not the longest in the world, but it's also pretty decent length for a minor patch. So I'm probably just gonna get right into it. Before we get started though, one thing I want to bring up is that I've been pretty busy this last couple of days with homework and a bunch of other stuff, so that's all done as of today. I just finished a big batch of difficult assignments, so I'll be more free to do streams and YouTube content and all that stuff in the coming days. I also do have some end of term papers that I have to be working on over the next like week and a half or so. So that's going to be kind of slowing down my content in about like a week or so, but in general, this next week or so, I should have more free time for this stuff. But yeah, anyways. All right, everybody. Minor patch. Let's get right into it. Yes, please, by the way, if this is your first time being here, please, no spoilers. I do want to see it naturally as we go. First things first. We've got some mastery changes. We're adjusting some masteries that would overlap with item stats or levels being highly efficient in the late game. Looks like they're changing crafting mastery, HP mastery, defense mastery, and meditation mastery, which is probably good. I agree that these masteries were sort of overlapping too much. So we're going to see what gets changed. Crafting mastery gets reduced by just a very small amount. By the way, crafting mastery, for those who don't know, crafting mastery is increasing the effectiveness of all of your items as you craft things that would go up. So that's why if you had, say, 35% cooldown reduction in your build, sometimes you check your CDR and you'd have like 38%, even though you only built 35%. That's because craft mastery increased the stats on your stuff. HP mastery gave you HP, like max HP, and you would get that by crafting food generally, and taking damage was the other way. Defense mastery was a lot of like damage reduction, and so I guess they're reducing that as well. And meditation mastery, which is increasing your max SP per mastery level, is also being reduced. So this is just less defensive, free defensive stats for scaling into the late game. This is a buff to burst damage characters. Is it a buff to burst damage characters though, Ashton? Because like, honestly, I felt like this was a way that a lot of squishier builds got to scale into the late game, was sort of being like, well, in the mid game, I have no HP really from items, but I'm guaranteed to like get a free like 500 to 1,000 HP from like crafting a bunch of food or something in the late game. So I don't know. I don't know who this is going to adversely affect more than others. I really just kind of don't know. Either way, it's an interesting change, and we'll see how it pans out. Character changes. We're combining LP variations by character and by weapons since our last update. For example, top tier solo Hedgen bow had a win rate of 9.2%, which is 2.9% lower than average. Her average kills were 1.85, which was 0.3 higher than the average. When data points like win rate and average kills show us different results, average LP received with that character can become a tertiary data point. For Hedgen bow, the average LP received... Wait, the average LP received by players was slightly above average. Okay. I'm not quite sure what that means by the LP received was slightly above average. I don't... That's the part that's throwing me off. I think what it's trying to say is that they're finding discrepancies in like, oh, this character isn't winning a ton, but they're killing a ton, or like things like that, where it's certain stats aren't exactly lining up properly, but I don't know exactly what they're trying to get at here. It's really not that clear. We will talk more about data points used for balanced decisions after continuing to verify the reliability of new data points and our new and improved data acquisition methods. Cool. So it looks like some of the fixes to data might hopefully be rolling out soon. That would be sort of my hope, but I'm not sure. Adriana changes. What are the odds she's actually gonna get buffed? She has slightly more attack. I read ahead to this. She has slightly more attack power per level, and she has slightly more defense per level, but she's doing way less damage in duo and way less damage in squad. And my music is too loud on my end. Okay. Yeah, how about that? That's a little odd. Hey, what's up? What's up, Taze? How you doing, man? Also, sorry if I'm not saying hi to everybody individually. Hey, everybody. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Shoichi Changes. Dual sword base attack speed is being increased. Okay, but why? Honestly, did we need to buff dual swords? Like, is that something that we needed to do? Because honestly, I kind of feel like Jackie didn't need it. Dual swords is already doing pretty fine. I feel like, if anything, we should have maybe seen some buffs to, like, I don't know. I don't get this change. Yes, I have a Discord now. If anyone's interested in joining, I post all my stuff there ahead of time, or at least like I give notifications, I do polls and stuff there too. So if you want to go in the Discord, ask me questions, things like that, hop in that link. Kiara, getting less HP regen per level, and her ultimate damage per second ticking has gone down by a pretty substantial amount. This is nice. I'm glad we see this change. Honestly, Kiara did need nerfs, so I'm glad that she's getting nerfed. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Dagger Jackie get buffed. I don't really know why they... I don't know, but whatever. Fiora. Bente, which is her Q, will be improved a bit more in our next major update. Since both Spear and Two-Handed Sword Fiora are a bit on the stronger side, yes, thank you for acknowledging that. We are trying to improve her stats bit by bit, while trying not to influence her balance too much. Her rapier base attack speed has gone up. So they're trying to buff the weaker aspects of Fiora without nerfing. I don't know what they're trying to do. So they're trying to make sure that Fiora doesn't become even more broken, because by the way, she's already pretty broken at the moment. She's top tier as fuck as a spear and two-handed sword user. So they're trying to make sure that rapier is also pretty good, but they're worried that if they buff Fiora overall by making her Q too good, because it's pretty fucking terrible at the moment, then they're just gonna make spear even more broken. So that's what they're trying to avoid. So sure, I guess this is a good change. I'm very concerned about the Q being really good. I feel like if they're gonna make the Q too good in the future, they need to make sure that the rest of Fiora's kit gets the power shifted as well. She needs to not just suddenly have another skill, because she's already really good with like 3 skills. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Dazrak? How you doing? Heart is going to be dealing more damage. Yes. Okay, more damage in duo and more damage in squad. By the way, I don't want to alarm you guys or anything, but I kind of found a really strong heart build. I played it on my last stream, and I've been playing it like non-stop recently with my boy Gino. It's a fucking strong build, and fun fact, I'm putting a video out on that like today, so if you're interested in that, it might be out today, it might be out tomorrow. Either way, it's all recorded. So yeah, if you think that this is not terrifying right here to read, I'm fucking terrified of this, because I know how strong Heart actually is right now. She's definitely like, if I could re-rate Heart's position knowing that this build exists, I would probably put her A or A+ tier. She is really good with this build. But anyway, Lead Island fixed a significant bug related to Drink Up. Improved problem with being stunned too easily when using Striking Tiger R to attack instead of reducing its escape power. Okay, well, we'll see what this means. Normal attack enhancement effect of Drink Up now disappears properly after using a normal attack. Can someone translate? Does that mean that like if she presses W and then auto attacks and then uses a skill? I don't know what that means. And even PM Howard in my chat, the guy who plays Lead Island, has no idea what that means. So I don't know about that. She's getting less max HP, which is a great change. Striking Tiger, her R, is going to have a far increased cooldown, which is a great change. The cooldown is reduced by 40% if hitting an enemy, and it is unable to be stopped when the kick is launching forward. Speed when launching forward is reduced. Okay, so I like these changes. So let me translate this. Let me put this into a nice little translation. Basically, what this is doing is punishing you for missing, which is a wonderful change. This is something that I have been suggesting for a long time. This isn't exactly the suggestion that I had been proposing, but this is a good way of doing it. This is basically saying, if you're just using Lee Dylin ult to just get the fuck out of dodge, you're gonna get punished. Because right now, Lee Dylin's ult is an incredibly powerful combat tool, while also being the best escape in the game, and it's not even close. You can't even say like, oh, but what about Magnusar? Magnusar is a good escape, yeah, but Magnusar doesn't just like, boom, come out instantly and just get you like perfectly out of dodge, can't go over walls. It's much slower on the initial burst of speed. Lee Dylin ult is fucking insane for escaping, so this is punishing it a little bit. I personally would have been more interested in, like, I had been proposing for a long time maybe having it stun the Dylin for a second or so if she misses the ult, so it can't just be used as an escape tool, because it's not like it's weak as a combat tool at all, but this is a good change too. I'm fine with this. So basically, if you hit your target, it refunds some of the cooldown, but in general, the cooldown's longer. Good change. I'm a fan of this. Let's see, Shoichi. He's gonna have 50 more base HP, a little bit more defense per level, and his Q is gonna have reduced mana cost. Small buff, but I guess it's a good start at least, because he is very mana hungry at the moment. Alright, some weapon changes. Golden Rifle, which is the blue sniper that was like the one you would sit on before going into Deadly Ray, it's getting its attack power toned down, and honestly, I'm fine with that. I always thought Golden Rifle was pretty stupid for being just a blue. It made sitting on it for trying to high roll for Golden Ray, you know, kind of too good. So this is fine. AK-12, a little bit more attack power. XCR, a little bit more attack power. This makes me want to run more AK-12 and XCR. Honestly, I don't think AK-12 and XCR are that bad at the moment. XCR is actually pretty slept on in general. So be looking for like potential XCR builds going forward. Magnum Bow with a little bit of an attack power boost. Rapier changes. The Kiara rapiers, the spell amp / CDR rapiers, going from 15% down to 12%. Durandal Mark II going from 45% up to not 45%, going from 45 attack power up to 48 attack power. So it's a little bit of a buff for Durandal and a little bit of a nerf for Mistleton and its derivatives. Tonfa. Tonfa's getting a little bit more spell amp, going from 2.8% to 3% per level on the mastery scaling. Tactical Tonfa's seeing 5% lifesteal increase, which is honestly 25% on a melee. It's pretty good for like, look, I know you have like, what's the magic stick or whatever, the hammer, that thing's at 30% or some ridiculous number, but like that builds off of a moonstone, so it's understandable that it's going to be like at 30%. Tactical Tonfa does not build out of any rare materials. And being at 25%, that's kind of cool. But Tactical Tonfa's stats are fucking terrible in general. It has like no attack power. And Tonfa in general is just not good for auto attacking. So a lifesteal Tonfa, I don't want to write it off entirely. Maybe there's some build that we just don't know about yet. No one's really put the pieces together. But I don't think this change is going to do much. I'm sure you guys kind of can agree with me on this one. There's no way this is going to be that influential, but still, at least they're paying attention to the fact that Tactical Tonfa actually completely sucks. Vibroblade, 4 more attack power. Karnwennen, 5 more attack power. Cool, I'm fine with these changes. Daggers in general are just kind of underwhelming at the moment. So I'm glad to see Vibroblade and Karnwennen getting a little bit of a boost, a buff. That being said, things I'm not happy to see, Fang Mace. Skill amp going from 35 down to 31. Can I get a at Gino in the chat? At Sung Gino. Your weapon's dead. Honestly, I think Fang Mace will probably still be pretty decent, but it's definitely, that's a pretty big nerf to Magnus. I don't know. We're nerfing Magnus more, but whatever. Bow changes. Oh, and sorry, Magic Stick going from 60 to 70. Hey, really motivating you to build Magic Stick now. If they're gonna nerf Fang Mace and buff Magic Stick, it's making me want to run a lot more Magic Stick. I can finally get Gino to just build the damn Magic Stick. He's so lazy about it. I'm like, here's a Moonstone. Here's a Moonlight Pendant. By all means, build your weapon. He's like, that's too much effort. I don't wanna. Bo's getting more attack speed per level. Why? But sure. Bow's getting a little bit more attack speed per level. Like, to me, the reason why I'm not saying like, oh, Bow shouldn't be buffed. Bow should be buffed. Bow is really weak right now, for like Nadine purposes. But like, do we buff Bow by increasing the attack speed, or do we buff Bow in some more creative way? Like, I feel like it's the stats of the auto attack bows that are sort of underwhelming at the moment. But you know what? The scaling is also very important too. It's just a weird situation to be in, because if you make the base stats of the bows too good, you get kind of this golden ghost scenario where it just kills anyone in the early game, but it doesn't scale. But if you just increase the attack speed, I don't feel like bows were struggling with attack speed. But you know what? I guess the attack speed mastery change is probably good for ancient bolt builds, so I guess we'll take that. Golden ratio bow is getting a little bit more attack power. Sure, that's fine too. Crossbow changes. Ballista getting a buff, actually, reducing some of these negative stats that it had before. Also, what's up, Lenny? Throw changes. David's sling, ooh, 60 to 70. David's sling being a 70 is kind of not that bad. Like, I don't think David's sling is particularly great, but 60 to 70 is a fairly significant buff. Yeah, eighth in particular was the man who was sling for so long. Back when we were waiting for Adrian to come out and he was just like playing Zahir. I remember that. And I don't think it's quite good, but maybe it's better now. And Grenade of Antioch still not addressing its issue of only having 8 charges, getting 5 more attack power, going from 80 to 85. Shurikens, Fletchet buff, Cards of Tyranny buff, and Fuma Shuriken buff. Ooh. So Fuma Shuriken, I think of all these changes, the Fuma Shuriken one is the most interesting. I think Fletchets and Cards of Tyranny are pretty terrible. I don't see anyone who really wants to run like crit Shuriken, like anyone who wants to do it for like not troll reasons, not PM Howard reasons. Fuma Shuriken, however, kind of has a real build. PM Howard, you're saying that Chris Cell is legit? How legit? Are we talking like meta contender, or like it's cute and can steal a game? Meta contender. Okay, you know, maybe. Hey, I'm always happy to admit when I could be wrong. Maybe. Hey, maybe Fletch has got some spice to it. You know, got a little bit of the juice that I don't know about. That being said, Fuma Shuriken. There's a Fuma Shuriken build out there right now that's not actually that terrible. Shield spams Sella. It's pretty good. So this Fuma Shuriken buff might actually be something kind of real. If it ends up amounting to something, keep an eye out for this. Glove changes. Divine Fist getting an attack power buff. Brazil Gauntlet getting an attack power buff. These are both kind of underrepresented at the moment, so sure, I'm not complaining too much about these changes. Spy Umbrella. Ooh, Spy Umbrella getting a buff. Yo, what if, hey Gina, what if we went back to Spy Umbrella? That's kind of a nice buff. Kind of feeling that right now. Yeah, the last few changes. Armor changes. We're seeing a attack power decrease on Dragon Dobok, going from 15 down to 11. Amazonas is seeing a hefty defense nerf, which is oh so grateful for. I'm oh so grateful for. Like, Amazonas was kind of just too good at the moment, and yeah, man, the defense, 38 defense, by the way, if you didn't know this, 38 defense, that's one of the, I think the highest defense value on any piece of armor right now, like chest piece armor. So God, I am so happy to see this change. I was so sick of Amazonas. It was so broken. Auto arms, 40 defense down to 35, which is interesting. I'm kind of fine with this in general. I was sort of sick of defense stacking builds in general. I think they're kind of not good for the game, but I don't know if this is really necessarily the change I wanted to see. I kind of want to see auto arms get less defense, but maybe a little bit more stats somewhere else to compensate for it. Like something small and weird, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Because auto arms is in a strange spot. It doesn't feel worth the force core, despite being very good. Like defense stacking items such as auto arms, Hermes boots, Amazonas, like you could just slap all that on a Hyunwoo and just not die, but still do a ton of damage because these things still sort of give you some offensive stats. So I'd like to see maybe some of the defense toned down in exchange for some miscellaneous stats, like maybe a little bit more regen, maybe give them 10% attack speed or something. Like give them something on the side to make them still feel worth the force core, but not quite just slap all the defense on a character type. Gilded Fan skill amp going from 16 down to 14, White Crane fan going from 18 down to 16, which is, to me, I've already transitioned away from building White Crane fan in general. I think this is my personal take. I think Rocker's Jacket plus Uchiwa is by far the better call at this point. If you're playing amp, you get your spell amp from your Rocker's, or sorry, you get your skill, no, what am I trying to say? Healing reduction from your Rocker's Jacket, and you get your spell amp, your flat spell amp from the Uchiwa. I think that's a better combination in general at the moment. Yeah, I don't think Crane fan needed this nerf personally, but whatever. That's just my take. Flowers of Fate is getting a buff. Hello, why? Why are you buffing Flower of Fate? If anything, I would love to see Flower of Fate get nerfed harder. I don't think as a green piece, like a two material, like essentially fully built accessory seems pretty stupid with me. I don't see why a green accessory should be so good. Like, I don't get it. It's so weird. But anyways, Red Shoes is also getting a movement speed buff, which is probably worth it, because honestly Red Shoes was sort of just worse when it came to VF sample usage than other pieces at the moment. It's pretty good. Like, as far as like, it had crit on it, it had some attack power, but movement speed wise wasn't that great. So this is probably a decent change. Yeah, that's it. Saving, what is it? Sharing settings of save plans is no longer canceled when trying to save without editing. And slightly decrease the level of some hunting missions. No more 30 bear missions. So that's gonna be that. Well, yeah, that's about it. What do you guys think of this patch so far? Do you think this changes things for the better or changes things for the worse? What do you guys think? Personally, I think this patch is extremely lukewarm. I don't feel strong about sort of anything. It's kind of not really addressing a lot of the core issues still. I'm happy to see some changes to dial in, even if they're not the big sweeping changes that I would love to see, but you know what? Dial in nerfs are dial in nerfs, and we take them when we can get them. I'm personally terrified of the heart buff in duo and squad, because she's actually pretty good right now, and I'm afraid that she's going to get nerfed really hard in the future to compensate for those. So that's a little scary. But in any case, thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you everybody for coming by and doing this patch discussion with me. I've got a guide coming out soon on exactly that heart build that I was just talking about. Should be coming out tonight or tomorrow. My Discord is linked in the chat if you're interested in talking more about this patch, maybe discussing builds, all sorts of stuff. I post a lot of stuff for my videos in my Discord, so go check that out too. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I don't think I'm gonna be streaming the game. I actually just got done like doing a bunch of games with Gino, so I think I'm just gonna not, because I don't think I can force him to play. And I've been playing a lot, and I've been working a lot on like homework and stuff, so I think I'm just gonna take a break and just kick back and relax, maybe play some Siege or something. In any case, thanks everybody for coming out. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'll be streaming tomorrow, so I'll see you then.